Hey, what's up, guys? Billy here again. And today I wanted to kind of touch up again on an old video of mine, the double confirmations video. I'll throw the thumbnail up on the screen. But the video is about 5 months old. So I really wanted to just touch up on this subject again of just showing what double confirmations really are. And this is a more preferred method on the hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly. You can do this in the 5 minute and the 1 minute and all the other time frames too. But it really helps here just to give you a good picture. So first of all, you want to find yourself a squeeze, a pattern. So let's just draw this pattern here. We got a slight descending triangle there. So what the whole plan is, let me just cut that off. I'll put that back later. So the whole plan of a double confirmation is to find two confirmations. So your first confirmation would be once it breaks out of the actual squeeze itself, right? That would be one. The second would be, let's say we had a line right here, right? We're marking this break above because there's a good gap spot all right here. Good resistance, 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 resistance. Popped up there, support. Just a good line. You see it as a good, crucial line. So your first confirmation of bullish movement would be once it actually broke out of this triangle. The second would be after it broke this line and went up. And then you can apply your 40% confident breakthrough, 80% retest confident entry. Just a good little way of attacking that. I can go over some more squeezes as well, but let's cover if it went down to the bottom side. So your first confirmation would be, of course, as price broke through the bottom side of the descending triangle. Because, all right, so patterns normally lead towards a bias. A descending triangle is technically bearish. Is it always going to go down? No, it's not always going to go down. So you want to have a second confirmation. And this is just the concept. And this isn't actual pricing. You know, it'd be kind of hard to play that in one day. You'd have to wait over a couple periods to play this on the hourly. You'd need it to go above that 188.30 level. But here on the downside, that would be your first confirmation. Your second confirmation, so let's try to find a line here. I like this line. You got a gap here. You got a gap here. It broke under. This is where it kind of caught support and chilled before it popped and broke for this high. Actually, no. Actually, this would be the best level. Now they're looking at it more. So first confirmation is as price breaks here. Second confirmation is as price breaks that outer line. A line totally out of the pattern, out of the squeeze. It's kind of like an extra just guidance, like your hand in front of you while you walk through the dark kind of concept. Now, again, that would be your 40% confident entry. Your 80% would be when it retests and then fails and goes down more. That would be the bearish scenario of what you could do on a double confirmation. Let's go to another stock because I want to go over another one. Let's do the 4 hour now. We did the 1 hour. So let's go to, I don't want to do Apple. Let's do Beyond. Okay, perfect, actually. Whoa. So we have kind of a slight rising wedge here, which a rising wedge would be bearish. This would fall soon. Now, the double confirmation levels you'd want to set would have to be levels outside. So let's choose this resistance turn support. That'd be a good second. And then, of course, let's say your second would be there. So price pushes up, breaks out of this rising wedge, breaks past the all-time high, or not all-time high, but current high of this time frame. Then you would know you have a really good entry for a bullish case here. Or at least for a good play for a rejection. Then you can see what it's going to do in that wave, because if it goes up and then it starts to consolidate, well, it's not really in that rising wedge trend anymore. It's in a new sideways consolidating trend now. It's not doing a rising wedge anymore. Now, on the downside, for the double confirmation, your first would be as it broke the rising wedge. That's going to be very, very bearish. But sometimes you get that reaction where it comes up, and then it'll even retest the rising wedge line. So that's one good little scenario to keep in your head, too, while you trade. But the first confirmation was that. And the second confirmation was this line that we wrote that marked that resistance turn support. That would be your second confirmation that this is very bearish heading down towards your other targets, which you'd have other lines here. You know, you'd mark your gaps. So you have a good target. You could say it has a good bearish case once it drops out of both of these confirmations to go towards 108. That's just a good plan ahead of you to have. Now you can go apply this yourself on as many charts as you want. I really do think everyone should. It's just good practice, just like any other thing. Let's try and find another pattern here. I don't like that one. Oh wait, we could probably see one on a smaller time frame. Not the 30-minute. See, I really like the hourly for a good reason. I'm just kind of marking good lines here just to get a good practice. That's a nice double top right there. All right, but double confirmation. Sorry, it's getting off topic. Again, price broke. That'd be your first. Then you want to have an outside line. So let's say right here, just because there's so many gaps right there. In the future, that would be your double confirmation line, just to give you a good extra play. Let's go to a lower time frame and see where we can apply this. I probably should have grabbed an example prior, but it's okay. I'll find one. Okay, right here. Perfect. So this is just, hold up. This is just Friday. See how you kind of had this going here? Your double confirmation would have saved you here. So let's say you had lines all over your chart. So you had a line there because that was a good, gap line. It actually got support on that gap line. But that is a good double confirmation line. If it had broken this, it would have been very bearish. You would have had way more of a bearish turnout than that. And this is on square on the 5-day, 5-minute. Horrible arrow, but whatever. But let's say that was your double confirmation line. That would have helped you stay in the trade. That's why it's good to go mark these extra lines. Even if you don't think it's going to go there, yeah, it would have been good to draw that because look, if I extend this to the left, resistance, support before it never went back down. So that would have probably been the best line. That was a good example line though. I like that because this was a gap up, and I always tell you guys to mark the gaps. But this was the level it stopped at. This level would have been good to mark because it would have been a good double confirmation line. Just because of that reasoning, resistance, support, the gap. So you could have had multiple lines out of the squeeze. Now let's look at for the upside. For the upside, let's say you were marking lines. Let's just say you mark the gap because that's where it went down. So now you have your reasoning. You have your lines. You have your squeeze. Now let's say price did actually keep pumping and it pushed up. A true bullish movement would have happened once this was broken. As you can see, we ended up just consolidating between the gap level today. Or Friday, sorry. But this does give you good insight on what the price could do if it actually does break out of the squeeze. That's why it's always good to go mark other lines. So let's find some more. I'm just going to try and go through a few. Let's do an intraday example. Oh, that was a bad example. All right, whatever. So let's just say you see this pattern forming. You see kind of a squeeze forming. Any kind of squeeze. It doesn't matter what squeeze this is. It does not matter what pattern this is. This will work. This will help you not trade better, but this will help you have a better plan and insight on what can happen next. Good scenario intuitiveness, I guess. I don't really know the word I'm trying to look for. But your double confirmation after the squeeze breaks up would have been that high. And this is for intraday. This isn't for like the other stuff I was saying. For the break below, you probably would have waited for it to break through this just because that's such a big candle right there. Or even right here, just because of that wick. But your first confirmation broke, went up, caught support all over your line. And look at that. Rising volume. Whoops. So once it caught support here on your double confirmation line and then ran, you had continuation trend in your head. You should be sitting here staring at, let's say you got calls down here. You're freaking out. You don't know if it's going to reverse here or not because all this jump roping it's doing. This would have been a good indication for one, like you always hear me preach. The double confirmation would have been a good second confirmation. And that's just, that'll go for any chart. This is just AL. You won't see me trade AL, but that's a good example. But if this video has helped any of you, or if you guys have any more questions on double confirmation, please refer to my old video or hit me up in the premium chat. I'd be glad to help.